Hi guys, and welcome to MS Access Database Connection in Java NetBeans. Alright, let me show you guys how this works. Click on reset. No, I don't want to reset. Let's say I want to reset. Click on that and enter whatever data you want to enter in there. And in here, this will be the student name. Let's say the student is Julie. And the name is Mo. Address number 14, always Lane. And the postcode and right here we have the telephone number. There we go. Right there. So all we then need to do is just to add the details of Julie straight onto the database. But just before I do that, let me show you guys the database. Open up the database, double click on JConnect, and that is the database right here. As you can see, the details of Julie is missing. So I'm going to close that, minimize this as well, and then click on Insert. Click on Yes, and there we go. Julie is now added onto the system. And let's check out the database. Double click on the table. We should be able to see details of Julie right here. So I'm going to have to close everything and reopen it again. And open up the database. Double click on that, and right there, that's the details of Julie. There, so I can close that now. We can also print. So if you want, you can print it out. I don't have a printer, so I'm going to cancel that. And we can exit. No, I don't want to exit. Yes, I do want to exit. And there we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start a new tutorial. So let's go straight into File. Click on New Project. And make sure you select Java with hand. And the project will be Java NetBeans. Click on Next. And let's give that a name, and we'll just call it MS underscore access connection. There. So let's copy that. And right here you see the create main class. I'm going to leave that unchecked and click on finish. There we go. The system is getting ready. And right here in the project area, let's look for MS Access Database Connection right there. And just double click on that. First of all, let's right click on it. Right click. And let's select JFrame form. Give the JFrame form a name and also give the package a name, the same name. And I'm going to click on finish. There. The environment is ready now. Right click on it and let's select set layout, where we have select absolute layout right here. There we go. Now right click again, let's select project, and in the project you see where we have code. Click on code. Generate center, make sure it's checked, and here let's change the details we have in here to 1400 by 800, and then click on close. There. Alright, that is ready. So what I want to do now is go straight to the palette here. I'm going to select panel, place panel right there, just drag it out much, and let's change the border of the panel. That's the border right there. Click on the border, select line border. The thickness will be 8, and the color on it, I'm going to make that cadet blue, and that's supposed to be 95 by 158 by 160. There we go. Right there. Okay, so we can make it round. I don't want it round, so I'm going to click on OK. There we go. So I can now copy this across. So I'm going to select it. We can just copy, paste it right in here, paste, just drag there. And I will now drag it, just bring it down a little bit. That's good. And I'm going to place another one in here. Paste, and let's reduce the size of that very one. Okay, now before I do any other thing, there's something I should have done, and that is to right click inside this panel, right click on it, and let's select layouts and select absolute layout. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing for this other one here, make that absolute layout as well. Right click, select, and change it to absolute layout. There we go. That is fine. Okay, I'm going to have to repeat the same thing for the other one. That is right up there. Change that to absolute layout as well. Okay, so back into the palette here. We now want to select label. Dump the label right there. Back into the palette again. We need text feed. Dump it right here. And I'm going to also need a table. Grab the table, paste it somewhere here, and let's reduce that a little bit. There. Drag it that much. And these two components here, the label and the text field, let's increase the size. So let's go into the properties and we go straight to the fonts. Let's make that about 24 bold. Okay, there we go. And this label, I'm just going to change that to, it's a student ID. And this one here, I'm going to delete the content that we have in there. Back in here. Select that, get rid of it. And change the variable name to student ID. JTXT student ID. Okay, that's fine. So I will then copy these. Let's copy both of them. Paste. We have two. This will be for surname. Copy and paste again. Paste. And two more. Paste. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up now. Just change the names of these and get back to you guys. Alright, all the labels are taken care of. And this one, let's give this a name. I'm just going to call this JTXT telephone. Right, and this is going to be postcode. JTXT postcode. Address. We have surname. Change that to surname. And right here, that's going to be first name. JTXT first name. They're all done. Okay, here I'm going to add buttons. So bring it down. And let's go straight to the palette here. Grab hold of a button. Dump it there. And there we go. Go to the properties. Change the font. Make it something much more readable. I'm going to make that about, let's say 32 bold. There. Now copy that. We have to copy, paste 4 and one more. Copy, paste there. Change this to reset. No, exit. And the variable name will be btna exit. jbtn exit. This will be, let's say we have print here. Variable name jbtn print. We have reset. Change this to reset. And the variable name will be jbtn there. And here I'm going to change this one to insert. jbtn insert. And the data there will be insert. And here we're going to just call this connect db or db, let's say connect db, that will do. And change the name to jbtn connect db. Right, very good. And now let's take care of this table. Right click on the table, go to table contents and go straight to the column. I'm going to add 2 more, and the very first one here, change that to student ID. Change this to string. The next one will be first name. That will be string as well, and this is going to be surname. Address, postcode, and finally that will be telephone. Okay, change the data type to string. All of them will be string. Very good. And that is fine. I'm going to leave the rest of the setting the way they are. Click on OK. There we go. Now let's run it and see how that's going to look like. Make sure it's saved, compile, and run. Oh, up here we need one more thing here. Paste that in there, and let's change that to, in the first place, let's increase the size of that to something much more readable, 48, and change the content in there. So I'm going to make that, let's say MS access database connection in Java NetBeans. There we go. Right, and then compile and run. Click on run. Click on OK. Alright, that is how my system is looking right now. Alright, that's good. It's not too bad, that's fine. I just need to move this a little bit up. So let's do that. Come back in here. Move this up a little bit. Okay, let's run it and see how that's going to look like now. So compile and click on run. There we go. That's how it's looking right now, guys. So, but there's nothing happening. With that, I'm just going to call it the end of the first part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly. And welcome back to the second part of this tutorial. And now before I go any further, let's create a database. So I'm going to click on blank and let's just give that a name. I'll call it student DB, and let's click on create. There we go. Now I'm going to go to design view, and in there I'm going to give this a name. Just call it student DB as well, and we click on OK. Now we are in the design view. So the first field, I'm just going to enter student DB for that. Student ID, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to use numbers, so I just make that short text. Then let's go for first name, surname, address, postcode, and finally I'm just gonna enter telephone. There. So as you can see, all of the data type, I'm going to leave them as short. Okay, and right here we do have this as the primary key, and that is it. So I'm going to right click and just click on save. So that's one down. I can minimize the student DB now. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the control panel, and right inside the control panel we want to click on the administrative tool. Click on the administrative tool. In the administrative tool we want to select the ODBC data source. If your application, if your window is 64, since mine is 64, I'm going to select that. But if you are 32, you select 32-bit. Mine is 64. Double click on 64, and right there this dialog box opens up. ODBC data source administrator 64-bit. I will now select system DSN, and right inside system DSN I'm going to click on add. Once I add, I will select the driver that I want, Microsoft Access driver. As you can see, the extension for this database is ACCDB. Click on finish. There. Now we need a name for the database, so I'm going to give it exactly the same name, so that's student DB, and select. You see here, just select that so that we navigate to where the database itself is. And right there, let's double click on the document where my database is. I think it's right here. It's called students DB. There we go, and click on OK. Now the database is linked. Click on OK again. Okay, the file is open. That is why we have that error, so I'm going to close it. Alright, click on OK and just click on OK again. There we go. Now the file is in there, so make sure your database is closed. So I'm going to click on apply and OK. So I can now close all of these files there. So I'll close this now. There's nothing working in here, so close that, and let's go into the code view now. So right here inside the code view, the very first thing that I want to do is let's add the following libraries. So underneath here I'm just going to enter the following libraries, And this other one here that's giving me error, I'm going to be using that later on, so let's comment it out for now. So take a good look at the libraries that I'm going to be using. As you can see, they are all underlined because I haven't used any of them yet. Alright, that is fine. Now before I go any further, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go straight into the project itself. If you notice, the name of the application or the project is ms_access connection. So let's go into the project, and right here where we have ms_access connection, I'm going to click on the library and right click on the library, and let's select add jar files. Those are the jar files that I need, every single one of them. So take a good look at them. Command login, hsqldb, jack access, rs2, xml, use can access. So I'm going to select them all. Let's see if I can. Yes, I can. And now just click on open. There we go. All the files that I need are now in place. That's good. Now back in here. So I'm back in the code view now, and right here I'm going to declare some global variables for the data connections. And right underneath my project here that is called public class, the name of my project, I'm going to enter as follows. So let's say connection, and the connection I'm just going to call that con. That is the very first one. The next one is going to be the prepared statement. Let's say prepared statement, and that is going to be PST. That is fine. And I will also enter result set, and I'll just call that rs. That is good. The next thing is, let me declare an integer variable. So that's going to be I_q. There we go. So that's my variables declared. Okay, I'm going to create a function right underneath this construct. So let's make that public. So I'm going to say public void, and we just call that, let's say ms, ms access db, open a bracket, and I'm going to enter in there because I want this inside this parenthesis. I'm going to add some argument to it, and that's going to be for the table, and the table, that is going to be table number 1. Okay, so let's say jtable 1, come out of it, enter coil braces. Okay, let's use try. There we go. Try cache. Might as well just complete that cache there. And the cache statement, what? Oh, that should be exception. Let's enter an exception there. Exception ex there. Now let's enter a message in here for this exception ex. I'm just going to ask that to be JOption plain dot show message. Let's see, show message. That's fine. I will click on that, and let's just say no. Okay, that is fine. So that should undo any error that I might run into. So inside the try cache, let's start as follows. Let's say class dot forename, and that is going to be net dot use can access dot jdbc. Okay, and that is also going to be dot use can access driver. There we go, and just end that with semicolon. Now I do need the name of my, or the location where my database is. So let me open up the location of my database. I'm going to need the path. This is it right here somewhere, student ID. There we go, student DB. So select it, hold on to the shift key, and then right click on it so that we can copy the path. Now copy path. There, I've copied that very part because I'm going to need it. So now let's come in here and say con. That is going to be driver manager dot get components, no, get connection. That is, this is not C#, dot get connection, and the connection is going to be jdb dbc column you can access column /. Now I'm going to enter the path that I copied, and right in here I'm now going to paste my copied path there, and just get rid of this backslash and delete that quote as well. There should be one more here to be deleted. Right here, enter semicolon, and here get rid of that. Yeah, I think it's right. Okay, let's do one thing. Press enter so that we have it on 2 lines. I think that is fine. So let's come down here and just say statement st, that will be equals, let's say con dot create statement, and enter semicolon there. Now that create statement is in place, let's create a query in there. So I will then use that to query the location of my database. So let's say select all from student DB. Yep, that is fine, and that with semicolon, and I would then say the result that will be equals statement dot execute query, and the query is the query itself. It's officially there anyway. Alright, I also want to add everything straight onto the database if there's any, onto the table if there's any data in there. So I'm going to say jtable dot, let's say set model, and that is going to be db utility dot so result set to table mode, and we will set into the table that is RS. There we go. And I believe he's going to be asking for, yeah, that is it. He wants me to import this. I think I already imported it. Let's go up there. There we go. That is it right here. Okay, let's take out the comment, and that error should be gone. That is fine. Now I'm going to check to see if this will work. So I'm going to copy that, and let's go back to the, okay, now right click on the design itself, the form. I'm now going to add Windows window activate, and right in here just paste what I've just copied and get rid of this. I just want it to get the first table. Let's see why the variable is not declared. Let's say maybe wrong spelling or something. Let's check out the table. Right click. Okay, it's lowercase. Copy that. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go back into my code. So this should have been lowercase. Yeah, and I think I need to correct this up here. Okay, I'm going to leave that since there's no error, so that's fine. Okay, that's lowercase, the name of the table that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to save that, and let's click on compile, and let's run it and see how that's going to look like. Click on run. Alright, the table is working, although there's nothing there. So let me open up this very table and just enter whatever in there for now, just to confirm that it's working as required. Open that, double click on the table, enter as follows: 998201, and the name is, let's say it's Mary Allen, and address number 1, Godson Place, and postcode, telephone number. There we go. So I'm going to save that, and let's close everything. I just want to make sure it works. So exit out, run the program again. There we go. Look at that, it is working. That's good. So guys, with that, I'm gonna call it the end of the second part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.